This have Yerushalmi Shekalim. The article Oz edition. We're on Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph. The second line down. Hifri Shikla Avad, which in the Bavli Yerushalmi is on Daf Hey Amud Beis. The 1, 2, 3, 7th line down. And in the Yerushalmi, it's on somewhere on Ches Amud Aleph. Okay, so we're up to the second line here. For Shikla Ava, you said the shekel got lost. Now this is before you gave it to a gizbar. You didn't give it to get to a gizbar. So Rabbi Yochanan Rechai Bar Chiyus Achim Slo Gizbar. It says Rechai Bar Chayes until you give it to a gizbar. The Takan Chadin says he doesn't want to commit. The Korban Eda commits, but Takan Chadin does not. He says V'avad Kodem Shitchim Machuma Kalosi for Chumas Alishka V'Yeshva Shefil Achash Nit Machuma. Some say even after Chumas Alishka. In other words, the Chumas Alishka doesn't. It's not effective according to the second shot unless actually it's in the hands of the gizbar. The Korban Eda says, "I feel achashit ma'achuma achim certainly gizbar." Even after, so that, like the second shot in the Tachin Chadatin. So Shimon Lakish argues. Shimon Lakish says, "Amar hekdesh b'shus hagavoa b'chol makom shu." Hekdesh is in shus gavoa no matter where it is. In other words, the moment you set aside, designate it, even if you give it to the gizbar, it gets lost. Doesn't matter. You were yotzei machzis shekel. You gave machzis shekel. So the question is obviously what is the Shimon Lakish b'ruth our Mishnah? Masnisa pligo Rabbi Shimon Lakish. Our Mishnah seems Rabbi Shimon Lakish says nishboilim bnei here when they're shokling tachtem. If the shluchim lose the machzis shekel, then the bnei you have to give a second machzis shekel. Why? They're already yotzei the moment they're mafresh. So what if the shluchim lost it? They're already yotzei. It's afrosha. It's like setting aside chal or anything else. Once you set it aside, that's it. You're yotzei the mitzvah. It says Gemara, Otim Mishum, and here the Gra and the Tanchan, they take out the word Shvua. Just leave the word Takana. You don't have to take it out, but it's better if you take it out because here there's no Shvua directly involved. And the Tanchan explains, Klomar Kimo Lamala, just like above the Shvua Shliach, Mishum Takana. The Shliach was the Takana, even though the Shvua Mikra is not required, so yesterday. Hachanami Tashlimim Ne'ir Nam Mishum Takanahu, Kteshibang Nisvay Mishum Yosin. Here, also it's Takana, in order that they should be careful to be shown properly. In other words, and I think you add on. Basically, there's got to have an ongoing budget. So therefore, you have to, even if they lost it, basically, there needs some restitution. Otherwise, basically, it's not necessarily going to meet its budgetary goals for that year. So, and make it in. You're right, say, with the setting aside, according to Rish Lakish, but we want A, to make sure they're careful, and B, in order to make sure that, I would say, in order to basically to make sure they get funded. So Mikol never Shnidma Truma came after Nitzma Truma, and according to they set aside and the Truma was taken. According to Rish Lakish, it didn't have to be. It doesn't have to be Shekizbar's hands, but after Nitzma Truma, then Lo of the Rabbanan Takana. Okay, at that point, Rabbanan said, "Okay, fine." Good enough. Again, according to Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan has to get to the gizbar, but according to Rish Lakish, it's enough that they set aside, and Nitzma Truma, it's enough. But if not Nitzma Truma, so they have to be shokling acherim tachtein. Okay, says Gemara Tani. So okay, they lost it. They set aside, and they have to set aside a second Truma, and now they found him. So now you have two sets of tachtein. Where do they go? The Shekalim. So now one of them goes to Machzis Shekel, but which one? What happens to the other one? So the first ones go to the new Shekalim, this year's budget. The other ones go to Takin Atikin, which he said goes to other needs of Tzorchei Tzibur in Yerushalayim. Sometimes, I think himself we're going to see this possibly goes to Ketzam Mizbech, but in any event it goes to Takin Atikin, even though it's not Atik, it's not from last year, but it goes to the same category as Takin Atikin. The thing is, Elu and Rishonim, Elu and Hashnim, what's first, what's second? How you find first and second here? Machlekes. Pinchas Berechina, Abba Amori had a machlekes. Chamar Elu Sheshuch Bnei Yed Chila. Rishonim are the ones that Bnei Yed sent first. V'chonamar Elu Shegili Dei Gizbar Chila. That was the first ones to reach the Gizbar. So the Rishonim, whichever they are, the first one, according to one man, the first ones to separate. According to the Mama, the first ones to reach the Gizbar, they go for that year's budget, and the other ones go for the Takin Chadatin. The other ones go for the other purpose, which is Takin Atikin. Okay, Melacha base. I gave my shekel to my friend, Lishka Yodo, to give for me. And he gave for himself. Okay, and this is Gemara is going to have a field day with this one. If the truma has been given, once the truma is given, the shliach is moil. So Reuven gave a shekel to Shimon to give for him, and Shimon gave on it for himself. So once truma salishka takes place, there's meila. Again, I was going to discuss this in length. A similar case. Hashokel shiklo min hektish. Somebody takes a shekel from hektish. Okay, in other words, he takes for some other holy purpose. The Korban says, "Shoy b'yod Moshe tishul berek habayis." He had money that he was consecrated for berek habayis. Got some change chulin. You thought it's chulin, but shakam em shiklo. He took it now for shekel for the machzis shekel. V'nitchum al truma, and now truma slishka was taken from this money gave machzis shekel. V'kana behema bosa truma, and they acquired an animal. We'll see that the Gemara also going to talk about that. Where truma be kavu and they sacrifice it. Then the person who gave this is Mashal is Chayav Kormila V'lo Korban, not prior to that. It's only Mila when the money goes from Hektish to Chulin. Until then, it was okay. It was not going to be Machzis Shekel. It was Hektish money wherever it was, right? If you take some hektish, but other hektish, even though there is some hana, animal el achashin, not ma'isa behektish sheni. There's no meila until after ma'isa is done with the second hektish. Again, the Gemara is going to elaborate this. Okay, finally the Mishnah says, well, I should read it again. Hashokel shtichum min hektish v'nitchum ma'chuma v'karva behema, and the animal is sacrificed. Mal the meila takes place. Okay, Ma'aser Sheni. Not if you use money for Ma'aser Sheni purposes. Made the Ma'aser Shvius, which is supposed to, of course, be specifically used to buy food and eat B'Kedushas Ma'aser Kedushas Shvius. So you also connect though. You buy. We'll see tomorrow. But you buy food and corresponding to that value, and you eat it B'Kedushas Ma'aser Sheni or Kedushas Shvius. At least that's what it seems now from the Mishnah. Okay, it says the Gemara. Hashokel Uchule Anan Tzninan. It says here, im nitra machuma. Then there's mila. Yet we have the tiny base Rebbe, and has Rebbe the Bryce. It says the Bryce said in karva behema. Only if the animal is consecrated. So which one is it? Rebbe Lezer said, I'm going to go with the Korban Eidas gives here, which is slightly different than Gemara. Who is the one who says only of Kar Behema? The low Rabbi Shimon. The one that says like Rabbi Shimon, it's the low Rabbi Shimon. Immediately the seller would get his money. Some of them, unfortunately, take out Hakonim. We'll leave it in for our purposes. And we're going to read the Korban Eidah to make it simple. So Korban Eidah says, only thing Bereish Masis and Loich Machuma. Tonight, base Rebbe Tani operation for Karbahema. They also has to be what's the animal's sacrifice. Flo pige. So it's not. Well, actually, let's skip the rest of Korban because it's an attack on the Maraful that's not important for us. Let's go to the next Korban. Hakastin. I'm Rabbi Lezer, low Rabbi Shimon. It's not like Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon is a common subperk. Miyarim Makabel Isa. Rabbi Shimon Poli Godit Nan Hosa. Shimon argues that it says there Hamasapik Unu Makabel Smoisa that the person who supplies the animals does not get his money Achem is Bechmanatz until after the Korban goes through successfully, without a mum, etc. Then he gets paid. Rabbi Shimon Sover Miyarim Makabel Smoisa, but immediately he would get his money. Even before the animal was successfully sacrificed. We're not concerned that it might become possible. And Hektish is going to lose because they have to buy another korban. Why are we not concerned? Because Kohanim are diligent. Presumably they're diligent when they buy the animal to make sure it has mum, and no mum, they're diligent in avodah to make sure that avodah gets done properly. So Shafiu lo korban behema ella shakanu also kvar yatzamos l'chulin umal. So therefore, it's me the mila. So according to the author of our Mishnah, so the it's only when the animal is sacrificed, because that's when the sale becomes fully effective and the money has been Yosei Chulin, because only then can the seller get his money. According to Rabbi Shimon, no, it's immediately when the animal is purchased, because immediately the animal is purchased, the money went out of the Chulin, because that's he held since Kohen was raising him. The point of sale is actually at the time the money is paid. Okay. Now we're going to get to the issue of what exactly is the Me'ilah in our Mishnah. And the final analysis is Shimon, who gave the money for the Reuven's money as his machzis a shekel. Where's the Me'ilah? Now, most of the Farshim learn, for some reason, that Shimon really was intended to give his machzis a shekel, but in the end he didn't. So I'm not sure why they have to come out of that. But in any event, the question is, let not be Mila, because it's Reuben's machzis shekel, whatever it is. And Shimon just is a chayv doing machzis shekel. Can't get away with this. So where's the Mila? So the Gemara says, Bekasha. I want to put this phrase like a foreign question. I steal my friend's oil. V'shachta stam. And I shechta generically. Stam lo l'shem balim b'shem b'chaperes. Is it not? Does not atone for the first owner. It atones for the first owner. So therefore, what's the here too? The Matzah says Reuben's machzis shekel. Who cares? Who cares that Shimon gave it for himself? It's Reuben's machzis shekel. So Amar Yehuda said tipater b'mesuyam. So he says we're talking about a case where it's mesuyam. Now we're going to elaborate in a minute, but there's a strange line in the article here. And I don't think, and it's down the name of the Karmeda. I don't see the Karmeda. And the name of a sefer called the Menachem Meshim Nefesh. But he says, b'mesuyam means when the coin is identifiable. And how it's identifiable, I'm going to explain. But he says when the Shliach, Shimon, gives the identifiable coin to the Yamachzis shekel, v'akro b'kach milyoso l'shem bailov. He uproots it that way from being for its owner's purpose. Now, it sounds like it actually has a tangible effect, that no longer Reuben's coin becomes Shimon's coin. But that's not true. It doesn't become Shimon's coin. How is it okayed from being for the purpose of its owner? But rather, it seems that it's something else. And Gemara is actually going to explain in greater detail I'm not sure going to get today, but on Gimel Amud Aleph, next Amud. There's halacha, and that if you get Tovas Hana from Hekdesh, you're considered to be Moel. So, for example, if you take a Hekdesh stone or stick and you give it to your friend as a present, and say, here's a present for you. And the present is Makir Tov to you, right? That's considered to be a Mila, because you got illicit benefit from the Hekdesh. And here, too, if Shimon's going to wants to get illicit benefit from his Hekdesh, how so? He is Messiahing it. He designates, he says, you know what, this is my machzis shekel. And the Gemara is going to say, I might as well give it away now because it's important. But I was going to say, this is going to exempt him from them being b'mashkin him. But I think it's even more than that. He comes across like a big tzaddik here, as you'll see in a moment. So he says, Tipatim Muslim, he designates it. He shows, this is my coin. And similar to Mishab based on Gamliel, like we saw earlier in the Masechta based on Gamliel, should miskavi doif chalukut, but they made sure that their coins would be the coins from the first Truma Salishka was taken. They put them inside the basket, or right near the basket where the Kohanim is going to take the Truma Salishka. So too, this guy, he says, Shimon says, here's my coin's going in the basket. So he certainly gets a benefit as a tzaddik, as if you're Gamliel, make sure. But besides that, as Morris is going to say, he's going to be exempt from them coming after him in the future. So that's the benefit which he's getting. Okay, but the Gemara has a separate issue here. V'chash Lamar, we have a concern. Maybe there's no Me'ilah here because maybe it's never going to be used. Right? It's not. Anyway, it wouldn't be used. Why? Chash Lamar Shem L'Shirayim Noifli. Maybe it's going to go to Shirayim. This machzis a shekel. And therefore, the Kedusha of Shirayim, this is a good brisker topic, the Kedusha of Shirayim is not the same Kedusha of Machzis HaShekel, because it's not going for a korban. So therefore, maybe there's no Milah altogether, because it wasn't true Hektish. The Chiyesh Milah B'Shirayim, is there Milah B'Shirayim? There's that meaning like it's bitmia. Ela Meir. So here this is either an answer or it's a part of the question. Anybody who likes, I learn like. Ela Meir. The Meir Omer Molim Shiraim. It's going like Meir holds that there is Mila B'Shiraim. That's one of the reads. And then the other way is Ela Meir Mila B'Shiraim. They talk about that there's Mila B'Shiraim. So now the Gemara says that Odhi. So according to the Gra, you change the gifts to Oti Potter, another interpretation, and not sure you have to change it to Oti Potter, but anyway, it's saying, or I can say, it's like that was like Rangamil, like I said before, the Masuya Rangamil Shem Iskam Tarm Lishmo, that he made sure that it gets into the basket. That's going to be used for that purpose. So therefore, it's Imi hold Amy will be shrine, but we're talking about a guy, Shimon, pushing the basket and to make sure that it gets used. So therefore, there is definitely Shemila in that. Now he got the Noah of the Tovas Anoah that he got this Chashivas. And again, as I said, the Gemara is going to give it, well, I might as well read it now. Manana, what's the Noah? Right? The Gemara says, Rabbi Avim, because if Shimon was a deadbeat, they never gave, basically come after him. But now everybody sees he gave. Kavala Mikol. So therefore not going to be mashkin him. That's the he's getting, and that Tovas Hanoah, which he gets, right, that he's avoiding being a mashkin, but mushkin, and again, I embellished it before, because they're looking like a big tzaddik, perhaps. That in of itself is the Mila. And that's it for today.